Okay, so I'll say that since the last video, I mentioned that we'd be stuffing these things the rest of the way and sewing close the little stuff holes. So it is now time that we do the next part we talked about and start putting the rings on the tail. There's kind of a way we do this. I use this white puffy paint to kind of make it so we get a line just like this on each side, and there kind of come to be other steps as well that will go along as we take it a little further. And this is how we come up with this particular way of doing this particular thing. I stretched it out a little bit so it could kind of go a little further, and sometimes I'd say, yes, for now, this is how we make one ring on the tail with the white paint to make it kind of stand out from the black and kind of show how we work along this little thing and put little dots of stuff around and make how the raccoon can come out to the best. And I say that this is just the kind of work it makes itself out to be, and then kind of put the time in that we make it work for the better. And so I say that this is just a little time we take working in the little things we do and make out this little ringtail for the little raccoon. Make it out just like that, and have a little ways of showing how the stripes can come out. I've seen a lot of this stuff, you know, whenever I was out in the wildlife center, you know, and how that I was around all those raccoons in there makes me think of a little thing, how sometimes just a little noise in a place can be a little much to startle them and cause them to go into their hiding places in their cage. But that's their nature, because when they're out in the wild, that's what they have to do when the mountain lion comes along. So I say yes for this type of work we have here. Put a little extra edge into it. See how this little coon is coming out, making its way along us to where we are showing a little effort to what we do, and then kind of like stripe out the little effort of all. Make this little tail have its little streaming ways and show how it's going to be what it's going to be when we get all done. Sometimes these stripes, they have to be done one at a time just to kind of show a little grace and mercy in how we do, and give it a little time to dry out. So when one ring dries, it comes around to where we can surely make another one and make it out like this. I do want to show you all a little trick I'm doing to help these dry a little better, and rather than just sitting them up, kind of take this little lid that is to like a holiday tin and decide to put it down flat like this, so that the tail kind of comes up a little more and has a little bit more space from the top at which to dry. So that's how far we come along for this video. think we're going to come on and do the next ring when the time comes to do it. Probably only going to be a total of three, and although a raccoon in real life might have more rings on its tail than that. So I thank you all for coming on here and watching and keeping in touch and staying caught up with things, and hope in the long run that when I get back on to record again, this will be dry and we'll be ready to work on the next. So see you in the next segment. As for a little thing or two I might like to mention, I think the last time around we probably got on a little bit too much paint, so when I set it up like this, it started to run a little bit, kind of do a little runny mess. And so I tell y'all, one thing I kind of did a little bit was I sort of took a paintbrush and sort of tried measuring some things out a little bit. And so it has kind of happened that I've probably left a brush over there where I shouldn't have left it, but do want to demonstrate a little thing I did to kind of try to take care of that stuff. I sort of like just brushed around on it to try to fill in some of these little empty spots where the paint could kind of get a little too much, and tried to get in a little bit of extra work in there just to kind of put it in place, put it in shape, and kind of make it out so it all comes down to just one little thing we do. I say that this is just one of the things we just work about here to kind of make it so it's going to kind of at least be able to have a little bit of a better of a smoother stripe. And that is what I demonstrate here. I say that sometimes it can kind of get a little messy here and there, but make its way to us and show us a little grace and power and love. Because I tell y'all, people, you sometimes come to realize that raccoons, they can be dangerous creatures, but they can kind of eat up all our pests. They can kind of help us dispose of our garbage and all, because that's why they call them trash pandas, to that matter. And so we kind of get a little bit of this little extra work done in here, and kind of put a little of the things in to measure out the little levels of white and black and color to go into the piece, and work away about that. And so kind of work along, make things just the way they kind of want to be, come to be. And so we got a little done on that. There's a little way how we kind of work about this as well, and kind of try to get a little bit of extra time and work done into the piece. And so I say that there's going to be times when it's going to be a little different in some places than it will be in others. And so when it comes down right to it, there's just little stripes and things we kind of put in a little work here and there to make it so it's going to be a little kitty cat of a raccoon, I say. And I tell you, when it comes to stuffed animals, even something that's kind of stuffed can be about as cuddly as maybe even like another creature that's stuffed as well. It doesn't really always happen in real life that way, but even the creatures that are, whether a creature is ferocious or cuddly in real life, a stuffed animal of it can be cuddly regardless of the ways it is. So I say a little work done in here. We're kind of smoothing out these little lines and these little bumps in the little type of little place we have here. And so kind of got to work our way about it a little bit. I think that this paint is kind of taking a while to dry. It probably will because we use so much of it, and it's coming out to the way that it's going to be when we get a little work done to the place on the raccoon's body where it's going to kind of show up and kind of do what it's going to have for us in all things, I say, and then come down to where we're kind of making things out come to the way we need it to be, so it's going to be a little beautiful and stuff to work with and all. Then come down to where we kind of have a little place or two left. It's going to take that generous amount of paint a little while to dry, and so I had to come on to demonstrate that just a little bit. Maybe it might take it overnight for one little stripe to dry before we can kind of put on the other one. And, there's a lot of things that don't happen overnight. Getting a project done or even learning how to do it so fast is one thing that doesn't happen overnight either. So we kind of got a little work done in there, and stay tuned. Well, I'll tell y'all that come on for this little moment just to kind of share a little more work. I just recorded a different video yesterday, which was kind of a little bit out of this one, and just now started uploading it to YouTube. But I tell y'all that as for now, I thought we'd be ready to move on to the next stripe, but do think there's kind of a little fade in the tail, a little place where the paint isn't straight in this first stripe, so I think we're going to have to kind of take the brush and a little paint and probably just try to paint over little places where we sort of have just some little work that has its own little ways about us, and kind of remove more little stripes and spots and stuff just to kind of get rid of what all we just do not need, and then kind of try to cover the places where the cloth is a little bare. So take the little things out and do a little work into them, make them so they're going to kind of show in the work of all things we do. I say that this is just one little bit of work that kind of makes its way about us. I say that maybe there's a chance that next thing you know, we might even move on to the next stripe next, but try to cover in a lot of this open fabric and try to cover it with a little bit of some type of little work we do. And I say that this is just kind of one little bit of work that kind of makes a little ways to us and show us a little artistic ability, and then kind of come down to where we will finally put in maybe one little line where the next stripe is going to be around this little part of the tail, and probably wait a while before we kind of try to make the other line for the next little stripe. But it's probably going to be rather thin when we do come up with it, because it's probably not looking like there's really much tail left to put much more in. So I say for now we're going to try to get a little bit of work done in to try to make it so we kind of get rid of all the little extra strap and things that make a way around here, and kind of make sure we get a little bit more white in to cover more of the black that is in the fabric, to kind of make it so it's going to be a little good little raccoon for what we have and what we'll do. I say that a little work shall make its way come to us. I say that it's just one thing that, it kind of has its way about us to see little things in the little fabric of life, and then kind of make it so we're going to kind of put a little extra work along the way and see how this shall make its way come and make its way go. And I tell y'all that this is just a little ways that we kind of make our work show. I'm kind of getting rid of all the little black parts in the fabric that show through the paint, try to get it where it's going to be a little bit more work to come along, make it so we see something come out just a little bit better for the little raccoon thing. And oh, I tell y'all, so many things I've seen in life as far as how this stuff goes. I've also kind of did a lot of reading as a kid about cat bears and things like that, members of the raccoon family and all. And so as of now, we're kind of getting rid of all that we really do not need. And so I say that this is just one little line of work to come this way, make it so we kind of got a little bit of a good little stripe in the tail, and see how this shall kind of work along. Think that just to keep this from running too much, might kind of try to spread this line out a little bit, try to make it so it's going to be a better little coon for us, and see how this is going to work along the way to make it so we're going to see a little time and work go in. And we had to spread that paint out a little bit just to kind of keep it from getting too dry as one big lump, and think we're going to do it on this one as well. We're going to come back and paint the other side of the stripe eventually and kind of go from the other side as well, but this is how we're coming along this project as for the way it is right now, and getting how we're kind of coming to where we got a little work in life and doing things that are very rare and seldom. And so as for that, I just decided to kind of take things a little slow there, go a little step at a time, and take it a little further along as it goes. We had already lost the top to this bottle a long time ago, so I'm using the top to a little Loctite super glue bottle to keep on there to keep it from drying up in the nozzle. But I came on just to kind of show you all that little demonstration, and there's probably going to be more to show as we move further along, so stay in touch. As for this moment, I come on to tell you all that due to the length of time it's taking to make these videos, I just decided with these 3 segments to end this video here, and to put the rest of the segments about the painting of the raccoon's tail into another video to continue the series and the playlist. So Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.